Hey everyone, it's Gail Lynn here, the queen of journaling on YouTube and TikTok. Today is Monday, July 6th, 2026 already. Where is time going? I know I promised you a video after my return from vacation, which I had a lovely vacation in Williamsburg, New Jersey. It went by so quickly, I almost thought I have to start taking more than a couple of days. I got to take like 2 weeks from now on. Because during my time there, I was notified that one of my aunts passed away. And it was so devastating to me because she's a little younger than my mom. So she's early 80s. My mom's going to be 89 this year. So they were very close all their lives. Like my sister and I, whatever one sister did, the other one was sure to follow. And she will be greatly missed. I promised that I would talk about setbacks versus crossroads in journaling when I returned. But before I do, of course, I want to do these are a few of my favorite thing moments and show you the status of a couple of my little personal hygiene pouches now that I've put the drawstring on. The bright colors, they can actually close them up or pull them out and fit little personal items in. Here are the various colors with the drawstring. Beautiful colors. Well, I tell you, I like vibrant colors. And this one I made for my grandson, CJ. He says, Mima, can I have one? So, of course, I had to go out and buy him his little personalized letter. But he's going to get that one especially made for him. And, of course, when all the other ones request one, they'll get one too. But back to my setbacks versus crossroads. It's going to be short. A setback and a crossroad are related, but they are not the same thing. So some examples of setbacks: a difficulty, an obstacle, disappointment, which can happen anytime, any part of our day, or a delay. A crossroad, on the other hand, is a decision point where you must choose between two or more paths. So a setback is just an obstacle, and then the crossroad is having to choose between two paths. Setbacks usually happen to you, and crossroads usually require a choice from you. I'll say that again. A setback usually happens to you, whereas a crossroad usually requires a choice from you. Often, setbacks create frustration or discouragement, and crossroads often create uncertainty and require reflection. And that's where journaling comes in. Setbacks may slow your progress, where a crossroad may change your direction completely. And lastly, there are examples of a setback which leads to a crossroads. So you're laid off from work. That's a setback. Now you must decide whether to find another job, start a business, return to school, or retire early. And that decision point becomes your crossroad. So every day, every moment, every second, we never know where there will be setbacks in our life, but we just have to be willing and motivated to accept what happens and quickly decide what choices we want to make to get the outcome that we want. Makes sense to me, right? A setback is something that happens to you. It is an obstacle, disappointment, delay, failure, loss, rejection, illness, financial hardship, or unexpected challenge that interrupts your plans. Setbacks are often painful and can make us question our abilities or our future. They are usually outside of our control. And that's, for example, me being on vacation, having a lovely time, especially when we visited the outlets. And then that next morning, I get the call that my aunt passed away. I was very upset. I think I cried a lot, but it really made me feel better because I'm not a crier. So when I cried, let me tell you, everything came out, every obstacle that's in my life right now. Um, Not including, also including, what is it? I want to say, including but not limited to my son still having to have open heart surgery in a couple of weeks in order to get those remaining clots that are on the lining of his heart vessels. So I have to choose to continue in a positive manner. I will be by his side the entire time, support whatever I can do. Because even though it's a setback, my choice is to believe, have faith that everything will come out positive. He'll be better. He's young and he's vibrant, and he will use this as an example to teach others. That's what my goal is. A crossroad, on the other hand, is a point of decision. It is the place where you must choose which direction your life will take. Crossroads may come after a setback, but they can also occur during seasons of success. They require wisdom, reflection, and intentional choices. An example of that is over the last couple of weeks, I've been promoting my YouTube videos, and now I have over 2,000 subscribers, which I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to remind you, which I don't have one here with me right now, forgot to put it on my desk, but I have those journals available. If you want one, you can just inbox me and I'll try to get it to you within reason. I appreciate you for your stay tuning in to my journaling series. It's very important to journal. So I call it my Importance of Journaling series. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all my new and current and old and future subscribers. Think of it this way. A setback asks, what happened? A crossroad asks, what will I do next? The setback is the event where the crossroad is your response. For example, losing your job is a setback, but deciding whether to return to school, to make yourself a little more knowledgeable on either the subject at hand, or maybe you want to start a whole new entire career, start a business. Maybe this is the time I put all those years in, maybe I want to start working for myself so I don't have to worry about this ever happening to me again. Or seek another career. That's the crossroad. Another example, a friendship ending is a setback, but choosing to forgive, rebuild, or move forward is the crossroad. And we've all experienced that with friends, associates, colleagues, people that may have, made us a little unhappy at one point, and we decide I'm not dealing with them again. But as I always talk about my pastor, Mike McClure, PMJ, he says, that every relationship is not something that we want to throw away. Sometimes we need to pray and rethink and ask God to help us rebuild that relationship, because we will need it. We will need that relationship, or we will need that network, or we will need that person to help us get to our next level in life. So we have to make wise choices about friendships ending. And how journaling helps. When facing a setback, journaling can help you process your emotions honestly. And I'm going to give you an example of that. Release your frustration instead of bottling it up. Identify your lessons learned, whether good or bad. Recognize God's faithfulness during your difficult seasons and track your progress. I'm always willing to track my progress, good or bad, with my journal, one of many. But this was the beginning. This is where it all started. Walk by faith, try by sight. And I'm going to show you where I recently had to write my setbacks and my crossroads with my personal issues going on in my life. Which is one, even in journaling in real time experiences, which is what's going on in life. Your real time is what's going on right now in for life, for real. I constantly face setbacks, no matter how powerful or how successful people may think I am. On the outside looking in, they'll think, oh, her life is perfect. She has a journaling series. She is educated. She's a teacher. She's a parent. She's a grandmother. But we all still have setbacks. So I have setbacks that I list as currently death in my family. My aunt, my 83-year-old aunt who just passed away. And let me say that out of the 5 of them, my mother and my uncle, who is a few years younger than her, are the only 2 left out of 5. Their mother and father, which is my grandparents, have already passed away. So they are the only 2 left in that nuclear family. So the setback is a death in the family, but my crossroad is to accept it, or I can deny it and just stay sad, stay unhappy. My unexpected, you can have unexpected debt, because it talked about that, which I don't really have unexpected debt, but I'm using it as an example. And a crossroad is to plan for future payments, or ignore it and let the bill collectors come, because they will come. Glitch in your job assignment. Sometimes there's a disruption in the position that you have and you don't know where to go. What should I do? You can either pinpoint and correct what is incorrect, or you can procrastinate, move on to something else and say, I'll deal with that later. But guess what? It's not going to go away. It's still going to be there tomorrow. Sometimes we have decisions to make or setbacks in school changes. And we can decide to whether we want to study and go forward with our schooling, or we want to hang out with friends and colleagues and party all the time and have a good time. But guess what? Whether we do school or not, life is moving. And before you know it, you'll be too old. You won't want to have to go to school at 90 years old to get your degree. I mean, hey, I'm not putting you down if you did. That is exceptional. But you want to do this while you're young, pretty young, or before you know, you get a chance, before you're at that retirement age. And lastly, health of myself and loved ones. That's definitely a setback. We have to always keep in tune with our own health and how our body is, and then of our loved ones, those we love the most. My son and his decisions with the blood clots. So my crossroad is to research, which I've done. I've visited specialists with him, and we've talked to these second opinion specialists. I've prayed and asked God to bring us through completely for complete recovery. Or I can act as if nothing is going on, and the situation, I promise you, will not get worse. Or sometimes you will leave this earth. So we have to face what's going on with our health challenges. I'm starting to think that in my near future, I'm going to be doing some holistic teas. I'm going to talk to a herbalist. I just found one that's not too far from my home. I'm going to start some herbal teas and see what they can do for me, as opposed to some of the other medications or remedies that I'm using. I'm going to try it. It won't hurt me. I don't know if I'll do smoothies. But I'm going to try this herbal holistic tea thing that's happening right now. I'm a little for that. So, continuing when standing at a crossroad as opposed to facing a setback, journaling can help you clarify your thoughts before making decisions. Compare the pros and the cons. What are the pros and the cons, right? Of each option. Record prayers and seek God's direction. And when you record your prayers, you're actually journaling them, which I have a faith journal here, or I have a journal here where I record my prayers from my good friend Christina, and she is available. It's available on Amazon, and it's called "Do Not Fear: A Prayer Journal." So I record a lot of my prayer journals in there. I also have my church notes journal, which I've shown you several times over the last couple of weeks. Evaluate your values and your priorities, because we all have values and we all have things that are prioritized. So we make time for what we want to have time for, and that's our default as a human being. And you can build your confidence in the decisions that you make. So, in closing, I want to say every setback has potential to lead you to a crossroad. You may not be able to control the setback, but you can choose how you respond. When you arrive at the crossroad, your journal becomes a record of not only what happened to you, but how you grew because of it. And when you look back and reflect after journaling on how well you did and how you're growing and will continue to grow, it will bring a smile to your face. I always say I speak life and you only get one, so let's make it as joyous as possible despite our setbacks and despite whatever little roadblocks we have. Let's make it as positive as possible. And that reminds us that while setbacks are temporary, the choices we make at life's crossroads can shape our future. Journaling gives us the opportunity to reflect, pray, learn, and move forward with purpose, which is our reason for being here on earth, instead of remaining stuck in disappointment. And isn't that so easy to do? So I hope you enjoyed this short video on setbacks versus crossroads in journaling. And I'm looking forward to our next series or video coming up next week. I'm not sure what it will be yet, but I do think I'm going to finally get that peculiar person video out because my t-shirt's ready. So in the meantime, I want everyone to have a good and productive week. And I will hopefully and prayerfully see you next time. Bye.
Galen Crawford. Galen Crawford, Queen of Journaling. Galen Crawford, Queen of Journaling.